Okay, welcome back again everyone. This is part number 5 of the hot air engine. This video will be the drive axle support. So that's what we'll be making there. Hopefully you can see that, this part here. So, the parts we need is that. Okay. Well, the first part we'll make, this is out of a 6mm brass, 90mm long that's got to be, with a 3mm hole drilled in the end. So let's go by that. Alright, so I'll head over to the lathe and probably set that up in the collet chuck, and I'll drill that out and machine it to the right length. Alright, I'll take the forge jaw off and put the collet chuck on. Okay, just on this brass rod I've just marked 20mm from the end up, so it'll give me a millimetre to take off. So I'm just going to use a hacksaw just to cut it. Alright, the first thing I'll do, I'll just face them off so it's 19mm long. I'll turn that around. Alright, that's right on 19mm, so I'll put it back in and I'll drill a 3mm hole. It's got to fit the actual crankshaft. I think that's what it is, the crankshaft. Let's have a look at this drawing. Yeah, it's got to fit the flywheel shaft, so it's got to go through it. So it's not quite 3mm. I'll actually mic the shaft and then I'll get the appropriate drill. Right, so I'll do that first. Okay, I've measured the shaft that's got to go in there, and it actually comes up at 3.15. So what I've got a 3.1mm drill, so I'm hoping if I drill that through it may just fit. If not, I'll have to drill it the next size up. I don't want it to be sloppy in there though. So I'll just do a 3.1 and we'll see how we go with that. Ooh. That I think might do it, because I'll have to, because this has all got to be soldered together, so I might leave it like that, and when it comes time to fit it all together I might be able to ream it out or run the drill back through it again, because that's so close. It's tight, but I think I might leave it at that. Okay, I'll just put a chamfer on the edge there. Now I'll get this out and we'll go and do the next part. Okay, I got that little part finished. It's like the bearing, I suppose that's what that part's going to be. And it just sort of goes in, but that's actually got to be soldered onto this. So I might just leave that as is, because I may have to run the drill back through that once I solder it on. Alright, so that's that part. This next part here, I've already marked it. I just got to get, this is a bit of flat brass, 90mm wide, 3mm thick. We've got to cut that 28mm long. So I'll take that over to the bandsaw and I'll cut that off. And I may even set that back up in the mill to actually get it squared off a bit more. Right, so I'll go and cut that off in the bandsaw, and then we'll head to the mill and square it all up. Alright, I got this cut and it's a little bit oversized, which is good. It'll give me something to clean up just to make sure it's all nice and square. So it's just under 1mm big, like oversized. Right, so what I'll do, I'll put this in the vise and set it up with this side. I'll just make it sure it's flush with the side of the jaw on the vise. And once I clean this side up, I'll measure it again, flip it over and put it on a parallel so it's sitting square, and then I can take off the remaining whatever's left to make it 28mm thick, or 28mm wide anyway. Alright, so I'll set it up first. I'm just going to use a fly cutter. It's like my go-to tool since the day I made the thing. Get this as square as I can. Alright, so that's that little part made up. So at the moment we've got this part here, which is that bit. This part here goes on there. Stay still. And what we've got to do now is make this bottom bit here. So it's 40mm long, and it's got to have like a taper cut on it. So I'll mark all that out and I'll set that up in the mill, and I'll mill that off in the mill. And it's also got to have 2 M5 tapped holes in it, just in the bottom. So roughly, that's what it's going to look like. Alright, so what I might do first, I'll mark this out and set it up in the mill and mill it so it gets that angle on it, and then I'll take it to the bandsaw and cut it to the 40mm length. Right, the setup I got, I've just got it clamped up in the vise just with a piece of square bar just to hold it there. I've just used, you might be able to see the line that I've scribed on there. I've just used the parallel, just sit it there like that, and you get that line dead flat. Right, now I should be able to just mill that down. I'll just use a fly cutter and take all that off. I probably could have put it in the bandsaw and do it, but I don't like having my fingers that close to the bandsaw. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll just mill that off, just with a fly cutter. Alright, I'm happy with that. There's the angle. So what I'll do now, I'll go over to the bandsaw and I'll cut it off to 40mm long, and then we'll come back and drill and tap the M5 holes in it. Okay, I finished cutting that on the bandsaw. I actually just put that back in the mill and just milled this side off just to clean it up, because it didn't look very good with all the saw marks in it. Alright, so we've got to drill and tap some M5 holes. I need 2 of them. So they're 10mm in and then 10mm in, and same on this side, 10 in and 10 in. So I'll use an edge finder. So I'll set this up in the vise. I'll just sit it on a parallel here. Tighten that up. Take the parallel out. It gives me a bit of room under there to put the drill right through without drilling into my vise. Alright, so I'll find this edge here and I'll move over 10mm, or it'll actually be 12mm because this thing here is 4mm diameter. So half that, you can add an extra 2mm onto it. Alright, let's go over a bit. Alright, so I'll drill that out now. The tapping size is 4.3mm, so I got one of those drills. This is a spring-loaded centre. I'll get the tap square then. Okay, that's one hole done. I'll do the same on the other side. Right, so I finished the drive axle support. That's that bit. And this one here, I'll just line them up with a drawing. And a little bearing. Right, so all these three parts need to be soft soldered together. We're in sort of a lockdown at the moment, or a stay-at-home order, so I can't go out and buy the solder unless it's essential. But so what I'll do, I'll just bag this up. There are other parts that I need to make up that's got to be all soft soldered together, so I might do a video on just soldering all the parts together when I'm able to go out and get the solder. And the next video I will do the displacer conrod and power piston conrod. Right, thanks for watching, and on to the next.